and it ran a lot longer than 20 minutes. So I wanted to keep the training session portion today 20 minutes or less. So we decided instead of going through the full buyer counseling session, we'll have a class at 1 o'clock on the buyer counseling session, just go through the preferred buyer agreement or the Waller Group buyer guarantee. And that's been completely updated just recently. So I wanted to hit the highlights of that, and we'll have time to go through that and then go through the full buyer counseling with some really good questions and answers, objection handling. So Venus researched the top buyer objections, and we went through those this morning, and I thought that there were some really good buyer objections that were very valid and valid for today's market in DFW as well. So that'll be in this afternoon's class. We're going to go over the new buyer's guide too, just a summary, and then of course our normal meeting updates. And Erica, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad everyone can be here with us. So as usual, I'm going to announce our agent of the month, and it's Kathy Crow. So good for Kathy. I'll put that there for her. Brenda Ariza was our top listing agent, so I'm super excited for her.
Brenda.
And Wes is our top producer. I just want to give some reminders again. If you haven't worked on your seller's guide and your buyer's guide, please do that. They're very important tools to use on your appointment. So we have recently updated the buyer's guide. So I left these examples here so you can kind of go through them as needed, and I'll put them in the back area as well. You can also find them on Back Agent under Office and Resources, and there's a Documents tab there as well, okay? So please be sure to do that. You can edit them, put your photo in them, and add some documents if needed, okay? And then also, I've left some examples here of our stationery, which again, we've reduced that, and we continue to reduce that so you can
What's the pricing now, the envelopes and the stationery? So I know we reduced it a few times, I can't remember.
I think this is about 35 cents, and this is 45 for the two, if I'm not mistaken. So we've reduced that quite a bit.
Which is less than what I paid for it. So because we really want you guys to brand yourselves professionally. So if you don't have your own branded materials, then use the company branded materials.
And these folders are really cool because you can put your business card here. So.
And I would suggest the folders for.
These are 4 for $5.
So I would suggest those for buyer guides or seller guides. If it's more of a luxury presentation, you want to have it loose leaf and go through page by page. So that's a suggestion as well.
Right, and as I mentioned, Back Agent under Office and Documents, we've updated that portion. In every document for the brokerage can be found there. So that goes to as far as the checklist, any forms or documents, the cost versus value, if you want to print that out. And instead of having all those forms in the back, we place them there so you can access them from your home or here at the office as needed, and you can print them out or save them to your desktop, okay? And property management, just to give you an update on that, our property management company is growing, and we do offer referrals for any clients that you have that that you send our way. So please do keep that in mind. And other than that,
explain the referral fee. What that is, how that's paid out.
Okay, and so you do get a 50% referral fee, and 25% is paid at moving, at move in, and then the second portion is paid when they renew the following year. So it is a total of 50%. And how we got that fee is that's what other competitors offer. And so we matched
the
that.
most generous competitor that we know of, and that's At Properties. So we matched it. We don't know of any others that pay that much, but we do.
Right, and today at 12:30ish, 12:45, we're going to have the photographer here if you want to stay and get your photos. And Logan does recommend her. So we do need a photo for our website. If we don't have a photo of you, a professional photo, please do send me one so we can add that to the website. Okay. Do you want to do the drawing? Do you have those? Okay, Logan. So what is our price today, Logan?
Free photo shoot with Christy.
Okay.
Ronnie. All right.
Yeah.
Free
Yeah.
session today.
Okay, any questions that you all have, any concerns at all, please come and see me. I am available at all times, and keep in mind that Richard and Logan and I are always here for you as well as Jeremy and John, don't hesitate to come to us because we don't know if there's a problem unless you tell us. And then I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to use Barbara, to use Reunion, to use our preferred vendors so they can prioritize your file and your clients, okay? All right, everyone have a good week. Those partners are dangerous.
Okay.
Our agent of the month this year. Come on.
All right. Okay, so a reminder on the org chart, this is always changing. So this org chart is a working document, and I usually keep a copy with me almost everywhere I go in my notebook. But one of the things that was added recently is the TexasRealEstateInstitute.com. So a lot of questions from you guys are on how do we get that discount code for the discounted online continuing education classes. It's now on the org chart. So that's an easy reference. The market update. So I'm going to give you just a quick update on the market. The inventory is at record lows. You know, no surprise there, but this is phenomenal. We're seeing Richardson has half of month's inventory. I've never seen anything like that. The other hot markets, you know, of course, the price points between 130 and about 300,000, less than 2 months inventory. So what does that mean? Multiple offers. It's an auction. It's an auction out there on basically anything that's in those price points. So when you have that buyer counseling session with your client, before you show them property, make sure that they're prepared for an auction. Do you know how to compete at an auction? Do you know how to bid at an auction? Those are some of the things that we want to talk about in the buyer counseling session, is setting those expectations. That is 70% of an effective counseling session. Okay, the price points between 190 and 800,000, our sales are really heating up. They're increasing in that market, as we know, because there's more new construction in that market. So big increases in the price points between 300 and 500. That's kind of the entry level starting pricing now, basically for new construction. You know, most parts of the Metroplex, you're looking about 350 for starting price for new construction. Sales, just sales in general for the month of February, we're up 8% as far as, I mean, the sales were flat compared to last year, but the average price was up 8% for the month of January. That's for the full Metroplex. So make sure you know your geographic area and what sales are doing in your area. The days on market is down 11%. So that means properties are moving faster. So make sure that you know what the days on market is average in your area. Condos and townhomes, pending sales up 17%, and active listings is down 21%. So the condo market is going to be hot this year. A few markets that are kind of outliers. DeSoto, median price was up 20% from last year. Lancaster, the median price up 31% from last year. I don't know what's going on in Lancaster, but that's an interesting market to see that the amount of inventory, it's just crazy. It's not like it's ever been in the past as far as Lancaster. Mesquite up 4%. North Oak Cliff, another hot market. Median prices up 45% in North Oak Cliff. And the sales have increased 30% in February. Usually February is the lowest month of the year as far as sales. So February is kind of a hard month to get a litmus test, but nonetheless. Northeast Dallas up, Plano up 9%. Richardson, like I said, sales, median price is up 13%. Garland, the median price is up 24%. Why is that? Because Garland, as we know, is a little bit more of a blue collar, usually less expensive market. So all those price points around the Metroplex are starting to level out to where the historical low price markets are now moving up at a faster pace. Denton County, sales are up. So what this says, bottom line, the picture on this market report is that if you have a buyer in that price point that's under about 350, then make sure you are properly counseling them. And we'll go through that more in the buyer counseling session. Richard, do you want to? Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Kimberly, do you want to jump in?
Yes. So I just wanted to say that I have updated the vendor list. We did have a referral from our property management team, and he did a great job. So I'm not getting a lot of feedback from you guys yet on who you are using, who you're not using, who you like, who you don't like. That's very important, because if I don't know there's a problem with our preferred vendors, I can't address it. So please, good, bad, or otherwise, please let me know the experiences you're having with our preferred vendors. I also just want to briefly go over the procedure to get boxes and any of our other services ordered for your clients. I know there was some confusion on this last month. So the process is, once you guys have offered that to your client, to let me know. I don't want to step on your feet. I know that there's been a checklist that's going to be added to help with this, but we want you guys using the moving boxes, the moving services, and even our utility concierge if that's something your clients are interested in. Shoot me an email and let me know. I know some of you are doing good with the boxes, but I'm not getting very many moving services used, and I think I've had one utility concierge used in the last month. So I'd like to see that increase as well. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, you can always shoot me an email or call me and I can go over those with you. But we would like to see you guys using all of our preferred vendors.
All right, thank you. Richard.
Okay. I'll be really brief. Just a couple of updates on the training. We have a new training class that we're putting together on negotiations, which will probably roll out in early April. And then next sales meeting, the third week of April, after the meeting at 1 o'clock, Kathy's going to do another one of her investment classes on bird dogging, how to actually go out and identify those properties. And then before that, she's also going to be doing one on mortgages, these special loan products for multifamily type property. So we have a nice paper that she recently did, and she's given us permission to share that with you. So I'm going to be emailing that to you today, and then with the understanding that she is going to be doing a class and whatever we can work it into her schedule. Back agent, the transactions are really working well. Just want to remind you, don't wait when you get a new listing, go ahead and get that in. You've got 48 hours to get that listing in, so don't wait till it goes under contract. I know some of them are going under contract before that 48-hour period, but go ahead and get your paperwork in so that when you're ready to do your CDA, there's no delay, because those things just don't happen automatically. We still got to go through the review process. It's got to go to Kimberly to get the actual CDA over to the title company.
And always remember, as soon as that time goes out, then that's when calls. So if we can't get that call back to you, then that can be a detriment to your seller, your client sometimes. So if it's not back agent, we don't always know.
Yeah, okay, because we get those calls. John will get them, or myself, or Erica, or Jeremy, and we search them in back agent. We search them in Netris, and we can't find them, so we just have to say, let us get back with you. And that really doesn't paint a good picture for the brokerage or for you, and you might miss a sale. So if you cannot get it into back agent immediately, just go ahead and put a notice out there, because we check that also. Just let people know, hey, I've got this new listing.
In my experience has been the first calls that come in, many times are neighbors. And many times, if they have someone that wants to buy or a friend, then many times that's when I've been able to double end the deal. So these are things that could be possibly double ending if you're not getting the call, and it's harder to do.
We have 14 participants in the coaching program right now, which will run for a little over 3 more months, and then we're going to reevaluate and see what we're going to do for the second half of the year. I think the people that are participating right now are doing really well on staying on track to hit their goals for the year. This past week, we asked you to come up with a figure for what you're worth for every hour that you're working, and those are some pretty amazing numbers. When you look, and even say the low end, $50 an hour. Well, that's good money. So keep that up. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the latest Roberta Ross CD that we just recently loaded out in the back agent. And this one is on how to win expired listings without telemarketing. So I want to go check that out. I know everybody pretty much has that as one of their prospecting activities, is expire. So go check that out.
And she's a local agent. I think it's
Judy LeBure that's in Austin. So it's kind of nice. She's just not too far around the corner. Okay, so I'm going to go into just a quick overview. I don't think I even want to spend 20 minutes on it, but I emailed you an updated copy of the buyer's guide this morning. So we're going to have a graphic artist take another look at this, and this will still be updated again with more illustrations and graphics, but the content on this is very good, and that's really the most important, is the content. So we've spent a lot of time updating the content. So I want to just go over a couple things that are the most important, which is page 7, benefits of working with a Waller Group agent. So this training this afternoon that we're having will be required for all new agents that come to the Waller Group, because we want to make sure that there's consistent customer service delivery that is being serviced. So number one, the largest inventory of homes for sale. And we'll cover this more in this afternoon's class, but more than 20% of the homes right now are not being sold in MLS. Some markets, sub-markets like the luxury market in Park Cities, up to 40% of the homes are not in MLS. My personal sales, about 20 to 25%, I don't even sell that much, but still about 20 to 25% are not in MLS. So that's real important for that buyer to understand. How do you find these properties that are not in MLS? If they use you versus the competition, they will have access to 20 to 30% more inventory. You know, that's worth a lot of money. So make sure they have a firm understanding of that. And then how do you find those? So often the best properties never make it to market, and how, you know, we'll go through how we find these properties through Facebook, through the Coming Soon, through the Realtor Network, through relationships with top listing agents, for sale by owner daily notifications that we subscribe to as a brokerage, in addition to the Zillow notifications, marketing your specific buyer needs online, and through other realtor Facebook networks. So posting your buyers' needs on the Facebook groups, the Real Estate Friends of Dallas, the North Real Estate, North of LBJ Realtors, the different Facebook groups in your geographic markets. The flyers and the direct mail postcards to homeowners, which is I Have a Buyer flyer and postcard. We have samples of that now in the buyer presentation, so you can show them that. And then the negotiating skills, you know, coaching them on preparing for that offer. So preparing you with leading indicators to make better decisions in regards to offer preparation. That's extremely important. We're going to talk about that a lot this afternoon, which is appraisers look at a rear view approach. They're looking at closed sales. Realtors are looking at leading indicators. So what are leading indicators? It's showing activity. It's pending sales. It's jobs that are moving in. When State Farm was announced, that's the leading indicator. When these new jobs are, right now there's being a lot of announcements for downtown Dallas. So we're going to see a lot more activity around the urban core than what we've seen in the past, because of so many of these tech companies that are now moving to the central business district in downtown Dallas. There's been 3 announcements just in the last 6 weeks. This is big stuff, guys. So this is going to impact our local market right around here, but we won't really see it or feel it for another year, year and a half. Just like Richardson's now, State Farm was announced over a year ago, and it's just now half a month's inventory. And so that's very valuable information when you guys are conveying that up front a year in advance. And that's part of your job. Complimentary moving services, the free moving boxes sent to their doorstep, the packing supplies, tape, marker, boxes, wrapping paper, first $200 paid by the Waller Group for their moving services, the preferred moving rates with our preferred moving company. So that's the benefits of working with the brokerage. Now, the preferred buyer agreement, which I just want to summarize, is the benefits of working with you as an agent. And that's where we've made some enhancements, but keep in mind you can customize this. This is just a template for you. This is what we suggest as a best practice. It's not a requirement, it's just a template. So the Waller Group Buyer's Guarantee, and you can word this the way you want, but this explains our preferred lender and best rate on-time closing guarantee, how that works, what the exclusions are in that on the next page. It explains how we set up the property search for them to notify them of new listings. So we're going to spend a lot more time on this afternoon on why these things are important. How is it that our auto search is going to be more comprehensive than their auto search that they set up, a consumer versus what we set up as a realtor? So those are the things that you have to really do one-on-one and a face-to-face, usually a face-to-face presentation. So this just gives them an overview, but before people understand it, they have to understand why. So that's your job in the face-to-face counseling session, is giving the why behind this. We'll market your buyer needs through closed Facebook groups, the geo-targeted pay-per-click campaigns, that's the AdWorks campaigns you see on your cost versus value, the MLS reverse prospecting system explaining how that works. We will market your home needs in print and voice through contacting top listing agents with a track record of sales in the area. So you have access to the MLS. You can pull those agents and find out who those top agents are. If it's, of course, in your GeoFarm, you already want to know who they are. Preview homes for sale and new listings, preview homes on broker tour, identify land and builders to fit your needs. Now, we have been working, John has been working the last couple weeks on a comprehensive builder list. So we now have a brokerage builder database, and it's broken up by MLS area. So based on the MLS area, we have a lot of builders. Keep in mind, some of these areas, 40% of the sales are with builders and they're not going to MLS. So you guys have to know what the builder inventory is, because a lot of this builder inventory is not, it's never being listed. It's not going on the market. You know, they're being contracted. In fact, the last property I sold was like that, contracted at frame stage. Finish out selections weren't even made. So this is something we'll start seeing a lot more of as more builders are building. We'll help you with the following negotiations, and you'll go into the negotiations. And I hate to go into this too much right now, but why is it that they need to have this information? You know, these are the things that we'll talk about as a market trend report, showing them quarter by quarter how much the market's increasing, so that way they have powerful information to structure their offer, so that way it gets accepted. We'll provide you with the following transaction management services: communicate to all parties timely, update them weekly throughout the process, coordinate repairs if needed, and that's when you go into our vendor list. So the vendor list, I would have a copy of that with you, updated, that's separate from the buyer, your buyer counseling book, and give this to them up front in that counseling session. This is a very, very valuable tool for your buyers. And the rating on these from these vendors, these are not vendors that I've selected. These are vendors that either you guys have recommended to us in the past, or that our previous buyers or sellers have recommended. So that's real important that these are recommendations. So we want to make sure we're getting more recommendations. We're always having the best available contractors on here, and explaining why, if we're sending them consistent business every month, then these vendors are going to be a lot more loyal than if they're just to call someone out of Angie's List. You know, I had a sale just last month that happened, where he was calling contractors out of Angie's List and they weren't showing up. It ended up being a nightmare for him, because he didn't have good contractors. He ended up using, I think it's Claudia's husband, one of our preferred vendors, and the portion that he did on the work, everything was very smooth, and it's a great representation of our brokerage because that referral came from us. So emphasizing that up front can save your buyer a lot of hassle down the road. So that, and then what they agree to do, basically to get pre-approved and notify us of any listed properties they wish to view. And then if there's a change in their interest level, financial qualifications, or search criteria. So it's pretty simple. This is something that every buyer you should be reviewing with them and going through. It's about 20 minutes as an overview to review this. And we'll talk this afternoon more about picking and choosing different things from this presentation based on the buyer. And also we'll spend probably about 10 or 15 minutes on the most common buyer objections that Venus found. She researched online what are the most common in today's market buyer objections. We went over them this morning. I thought they were very, very good. So with that being said, Barbara, do you want to give a couple things to say, update us on mortgage market? Oh, okay, Jeremy, let's go through. Give us a referral network update, marketing update.
So for February, we had 357 leads. 120 of those were over 120,000. We had 3 closes from the referral network.
Great, good job.
And for marketing, Jill Bell isn't here, but she's having she's having a good success with handwritten notes to the FSBOs in her area. And she's also using the Weller Group FSBO Open House program, and she's had at least 2 listings come from that. So it's been successful for her. And then for all the marketing profile forms, they're all available on Backagent. So just complete the form, send it back to me, and this is for all your flyers and postcards. Everything is on Backagent now.
Right.
That's it for me. And let me go grab Barbara or the photographer.
And seeing the consistent improvement in our referral network process and how those leads are converting is really exciting. So kudos to you guys for following up with those, because we know that 90% of those conversions come from lead follow-up. Is Brian here? Does he want to say a couple things, or?
He is not yet, but I did want to introduce Christy Chavoy. Sorry, I had to check my info.
Hi.
She's our photographer. So if you're going to be getting pictures done today, or if you guys are ready for your headshots, she's our girl.
Good deal. All right. And we've changed a couple things on the photography requirements. So we want to make sure all the photography is very consistent through the brokerage. All right.
We have a birthday.
Happy birthday, Richard. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Richard. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Richard. It's always, him and I, meet once a week, and we go over the coaching updates and the progress that you guys are having. And it really, the last couple months, seeing the progress and seeing your growth really makes me feel good about the brokerage, because that's what perpetuates the growth of our brokerage, is the growth of you guys individually. So your skill sets keep refining, you keep improving on your professional development, your business development skills. So I'm really excited. This is just going to be an incredible year for all of you if you just maintain the momentum and keep adding to your momentum. Barbara, do you want to say a couple things about mortgage updates?
Interest rates are really, really good. The grant programs, both the state programs have all increased their income limits to $84,000. So that's a good thing. So, and because of the FHA limits went up, so you're looking at about a $300,000 house that you can do on FHA with the grant programs. So
you can get in with how much on FHA? $300,000 house.
Oh, probably about somewhere around 7%. You just figure 7% of the sales price. You're going to get 5% on the grant, so you're going to need about 2% on the larger houses. It's all because those fees are fixed.
So they can get in for $6,000 on a $300,000 home.
Yes.
All right. That's
I
basically
got
the
somebody I got somebody in for $100. I mean, that was, they had seller concessions. So instead of getting some repair things done, got seller concessions. And
yeah, I had one with Barbara that closed last month, and it was a nightmare because he was getting too much money back. But not a nightmare, that may have been an overstatement, but it was an issue. He was getting too much money back. So those are things that you do when there's concessions, and depending on what's negotiated, making sure that that's clear up front.
yeah.
What are interest rates now on FHA?
FHA, they're around 3.875 to 4 1/8. It depends on your credit scores. Okay. And on the grant programs, they're going to run somewhere around 5%. That's the only thing people don't like, but you're getting 5% free money. Doesn't have to be paid back. So, on a $300,000 house, it's $18,000.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then historically, spring and summer interest rates start moving up a little bit, right?
Well, last week, the interest rates took a big hit. I don't know, oil prices went down, the barrel price went down $45 a barrel. And so the stock market went nuts. And so they started moving out of bonds, which is a bad thing. We want them to buy bonds for security purposes. And then they read the report. And so then the rates started improving again. So it's real reactive. They don't really read a lot, and things kind of go berserk for a while. So they're back down to around the 3.875 to 4 1/8, depending on your credit score and the loan type. So, but their rates are good. I mean, you got grant programs, you got good interest rates. You just don't have enough properties, it seems like.
And another thing that we'll talk about in this afternoon's training session, but some objection handlers you have for people who just want to wait, or maybe they're in a lease until September. But that'll all be addressed this afternoon. Okay, what else am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something because we're finishing early.
I know, that's why I went
That
to
heat-
lunch.
Yeah, that heat gets us in and out. Okay, so, please do attend this afternoon's 1 o'clock class, and I'm proud of you guys and all the progress that you're making. And Jeremy, I want to applaud Jeremy on the marketing efforts that what he's been doing to refine and streamline a lot of the marketing. So the marketing templates, he did that, and that makes it, we want it to where your marketing is on autopilot. I'm working on a lot of other things behind the scenes with some consultants to where you'll have very personalized marketing going out to your client base, and we want it to where it's autopilot, to where you don't have to do hardly anything as far as managing that. So agents managing marketing, it's going to be a big job. So we want to take a lot of that burden away from you. And I think Jeremy's been a big help to do that. So I appreciate that. We want to welcome Erica back from spring break. We've learned how tough it is without her when she's gone for a week. So glad that she's back with us. And then for anyone, I think most of you guys have met John, but John moved from, he was in New York, Austin, so he's in Dallas and has a wealth of experience from the East Coast that he can bring us, which is great. And we appreciate that. And thank you for all your hard work. Enjoy lunch and hope to see you at 1 o'clock.